Okay, Reggie, I saw that James did an interview over at Rodney and Melissa Evolving, the YouTube channel over there. I wanted to see if you saw it and what your thoughts on his interview was.
Um, Let me play it. Let me listen to it. Let me see. Let me hear it.
When Tupac got shot too, it was like, damn, everybody felt it. Everybody knew now is really time to go to war. And I was with that part because this is our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I killed everybody. My brother and all the homies that was working security at the MGM, they all should have got fired. Because nowhere in the world Tupac should have been fighting Orlando. For number one, Tupac ain't a company nigga. Tupac ain't never seen Orlando a day in his life. So how did he know who Orlando was?
That's true.
It took one person out of all of those guys to say, they're the one go right there. And Tupac wanted to show his loyalty to all these cats, meaning my brother and the homeboys. He went over there and jumped on it. And then everybody else went and jumped in it.
Okay. Oh. Yeah, well, that's James' belief. He always say that. And you know what? I got to call James and check him and ask him that. Because I think even yesterday we just showed a video that pretty much kind of show how Tupac and them were just running around and came out of the MGM, out of the fight, out of the auditorium into the outside of the arena. And James always have said this, and I always try to clarify it and tell him, it's like, James, no. Tupac just took off like a cannon after Trey went in. And I used to say to, Trevon whispered in his ear, because I guess that's what bitch ass Frank started. But Trey said, I just was talking to my big homies like, hey, there's the niggas that try to take my chain at the mall. And Tupac took off and ran. And then they ran behind him. And Tupac went and did what he did to Orlando. So, I don't know why James keeps saying that everybody should have been fired, talking about the homies and all of them, because they shouldn't have let the bag, or meaning Tupac, go and fire on that dude. But you can't stop Tupac. Okay. We should have said Big Stretch or whoever was in the car with, or Mopreme and them, when they was in the car at when Tupac shot at the two white men that later turned out to be cops. They shouldn't have did that. Tupac shouldn't have did. They should have been the ones to do it, and not Tupac. You ever thought about that? Tupac was spontaneous. Tupac was loyal to who he with. And he was fast. He just take off. So now for James to keep pushing that narrative, I gotta ask him about it. Make him explain himself. And I'll call him. But I also heard that gap tooth motherfucker, and as we talking about the chain incident, why do y'all keep letting that stupid gap tooth, broke ass, living nigga keep saying, Reggie lied. I made him tell the truth about the chain incident. Huh? Ain't that the first thing, if anybody saw the first interview I ever did on Bomb First, the first thing I ever said is the only thing y'all gonna ever catch me in a lie about is the chain incident, where I said that Orlando tried to take the chain from Tupac. We're talking about the Machiavelli chain, y'all. Not the Death Row train story that happened at the mall. That ain't made up. That ain't created by Reggie. The only chain story that was made up and created by Reggie was the Machiavelli one about somebody trying to rob him or take it off as he was getting out of the taxi. So when y'all let that stupid YouTubers say, I made you confess and come clean. But like, no. Reggie told this story way back in 2016, 2017. Before he even knew who a fucking Gap 2 stealing, fraudulent, bankruptcy filing motherfucker was. Oh, don't forget, selling dope around the school, cocaine. Nigga always saying, Reggie's a failed this, failed that. Huh? Nigga, you can't even, you got a greatest hit album that ain't sold 500 records. Nigga, you got a YouTube channel that's been stuck under 35,000 for the last 3 years. You can't even muster up 2,000 views if you ain't mentioned the name Reggie Wright or Tupac. But anyway, okay, clown. But we'll get back to James and his theory on why everybody should be fired. So, John, I got James on the phone with us. What up, mobbing with James McDonald?
What up, Bob First?
I'm calling to tell you, man. John and I was just doing some taping on Ball First, and he just played an interview that you did on my boy. Yeah, shout out to them, Rodney and Melissa, involving YouTube channel. Where you said that everybody that was with Tupac, that they should have been fired, and Tupac shouldn't have went off and been the one that, and Tupac shouldn't have been allowed to go and bomb on Orlando. It should have been one of them. Why you keep saying that, James? I keep telling you, we done argued about that 100 times, where I say Tupac just took off.
Listen, what was the mob's job? What was our job if we was out with those guys?
So you say tackle him? You say they should have tackled him?
Okay, so you let me finish.
Okay.
What happened was when Trevon whispered to Tupac never knew who the fuck Orlando was. Never saw him.
He said he was talking to his big homies. He said he didn't whisper, but who knows? Me and you both weren't there, so we don't know. But that's his version. Talking about Trey. But go ahead.
Okay, so did Tupac know any gang members?
He knew, I think we all know gang members when we see them or what we perceive, but he didn't know Orlando. But I get your point. I don't think he knew who the fuck Orlando Anderson was. I agree.
Okay. So by saying that, by him not knowing, he could have just jumped on anybody randomly. And that could have been anybody in that casino. But no, he picked out Orlando and walked up to him and took off. And I say the homie should have chastised the person that put him up on that dude.
Oh, definitely. Trevon should have been dealt with. I agree with you. Yes.
Okay, and that person, Trevon, should have went and took off himself.
Well, wait a minute. You know what? I got to backtrack that. Trevon should have been dealt with if it's like the version that you just said and Frank said and all of that he whispered in Pac ear. But if Trevon talking to his big homies and Tupac takes off and do whatever he's trying to do for whatever reason, being down, trying to prove himself to them, whatever the reason is, we don't know, then I can't blame Trey for that.
Why are you trying to blow smoke up people's ass? Pay attention. Pay attention as if you were there. And I'm saying it as if I was there. None of these cats, nobody know who they heard of Orlando, but don't know it by face, right?
Correct.
So this night so happened to be you got Tupac is standing there and he don't know jack shit. He don't know Orlando. So when a person see it and they say, "Oh, that's that woo woo woo," and Tupac just walk off and just go take off. At that point, Tupac is trying to show his loyalty to Trevon now. But instead of Trevon saying, "No, I got this one."
How could he, man? He ran straight to the man that socked him, James.
Listen, Trevon shouldn't have never. Why would he tell Tupac that's him? He'll go butcher all of them.
He said that's who he said he was talking to, dog. His big homies.
Okay, this nigga just jumped on me in the mall, tried to take my chain.
Okay.
At that point, Trevon should have took off.
That's true. On the street, straight on site, right? Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was on site at the moment.
Yeah, you're right about that.
So that's what I'm saying. And Tupac wouldn't have been involved. Why get the money man in the middle of the midst of the game?
Now, his version would be, James, that he was going over there to get permission by talking to his big homies.
You know what? I don't care what he said.
Okay.
They get from the hood had to go get permission
That's true.
to take off on somebody that took off on him.
That's
to
true.
go get at what dude's called now the ops.
I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Permission.
Yeah.
If he needed permission, he shouldn't have swung on that dude at the mall.
Well, he was a Crip before, maybe because he was still trying to work his way as a mob member, because he was a Long Beach Crip.
I mean, all that's irrelevant to me, man.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that night at hand, it shouldn't have happened that way.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have happened that way.
Okay.
And it would have been different if Trevon was getting at the big homies, as he say, then Trevon and the homies would have went over there and dealt with that. But because he didn't do that, the homies see Tupac fighting. The first thing on their mind is, hey, what this nigga doing? They in the mix. Bing, 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 bing.
Agree with you there. That's my point. The way you be explaining it, and your words exactly was, they all should have been fired because they let the bag go.
Let that back so I can see that. They all should have been fired. Everybody should have been on a at least laid off. I can't do this no more. Paid off is fired. Okay. I can't even way around that. But like I said, the mob, us.
Yeah.
I ain't just saying all of us. One reflects on all.
Correct.
So it's all of them. We failed. That night we lost.
Yeah.
That night everyone went under.
Yeah.
That night they cut the head off the chicken.
Correct.
They killed the cat's cow.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say because Suge Knight got taken away, but I get your point.
You know what? Suge Knight, and then y'all still sitting here, Suge Knight played a part in it too. How many times do y'all gotta watch the video where you see Suge kicking? Now he's the killer. And y'all ain't never said it, but the little cat was working with Suge.
Oh Lord, there you go with that conspiracy shit. How he was working with him?
Mama, stop.
Nah, nigga, you gotta clarify that. What you mean he was working with him?
Listen, it was all, listen, I say this because Orlando said if Suge and his money, and then Suge them came with the money for him to come to court and say,
Oh, that.
You never heard that, Rich?
I mean, I heard you say F Suge get the money. That mean fuck a rich nigga. You know, I don't give a fuck about that rich nigga. That's all that mean. But you trying to make it look like Suge had him planted there like these stupid motherfuckers on YouTube. You be listening. Oh, well, that's what you said. That's what you said. That's what you said.
I didn't know. I didn't say that.
John, you on the phone. Wait till the people in the comments start saying. John, when he said that, what did you think, John?
I thought he meant what you said, and people will take that one clip, James, and they'll take that one clip before you say, "Oh, about testifying," and they'll say, "See, James said that it was a setup for Orlando to be there and all that stuff."
And what would make them think that? What did I say? It was a setup for Orlando to be there. Everybody know all them cats, and from the beginning, when everybody was on their way to Vegas, they was already saying they gonna be in Vegas. Am I correct?
Nah, I never heard nobody worried about the South. I don't know all of that, but you know they don't talk about me like that.
Let's say in the hood, everybody was saying, okay, we know the South Side's gonna be there. South Side saying they're gonna be there. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Okay.
So were we not prepared at 662 with our eyes open, looking and waiting on them to pop up?
Well, I would say we're always on the alert for LA people in Vegas. You know, LA County people.
This why it don't matter to me, cause y'all wanna sugarcoat this bullshit. I ain't sugarcoating. It was said.
And like I said, wait a minute, James. I said I wouldn't be privy, and you know I wouldn't be privy to a conversation like that. So, if you're saying that's what you heard, I'm not disputing that, James.
No, that's what I know.
And I'm not disputing it. I'm not disputing it. Yeah.
And dog, everybody else was ready. We were prepared for them guys if they was gonna pop up and try to start something. But the whole thing, if you remember that night on the street, the police was all up and down the street, parked the whole nine. So could nobody do that? If one shot went off, everything.
I had them working the front door that night. They were working the front door that night, outside the club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me where I'm wrong at. I remember that night like it was yesterday. But what I'm saying, when it came to us, just like everybody had to be ready and prepared to be in 662, I think everybody that went to the fights were responsible for Tupac and Suge getting to the fight. And when Suge dropped the ball at, it Suge didn't grab Pac and get out of the casino when it went the way it went. Snatch him up and bounce.
No, I think they did a good job of that. I think Frank Alexander, that's the one thing I think Frank Alexander did correct that night, was getting them out of the casino and getting them over back to the Luxor. If you look at that tape, Frank did a great job of doing that.
And again, one job is to observe.
Okay.
As opposed.
Yes,
right?
correct.
And they should have seen it coming. Even when Tupac took off, he should have been snatched off the pack and hauled the fuck off. Get on. No, they all continue to jump Orlando. Suge, you can see Suge in the video kicking him.
I think Frank even did that, John, from the video, James. I think Frank even pulled Tupac off. I think we do have video of Frank pulling Pac off.
And then they got him out of there. But it's over now.
Yeah. Or it was too late, to your point. It was too late. He had already,
okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Tupac is shot. Hours after. Should wind up going to prison on the violation.
Correct.
Y'all tried to win him out of that. But, I mean, we all got eyes, so the judge wasn't biting into that shit, right?
Correct. I agree.
And then you got a room full of cases, boxes stacked up.
Yeah.
You got cases. No, we're not letting you off the hook on this one. And some in the prison. Everybody lost. And this is all I'm saying. Everybody lost. At the end of the day, Orlando was killed, but that night is a stain on where we lacked.
Well, yeah.
What's a good word? What's a good word for it?
Shit, got caught slipping. Got caught slipping at the wheel. Shit. Got caught slipping. That's the correct term. That's what happened. I think I said that before you got on the phone. The death row, right way, Tupac, everybody got caught slipping.
Okay, so why you calling me talking SHI?
Because you said everybody should have been fired for letting Tupac be the one that did it. And my whole point was Tupac took off like a cannon and went and attacked that man. Nobody could have stopped that man. Just as nobody could have stopped him when he shot those two white men that later turned out to be cops. You couldn't stop it.
Okay. No, okay, so let's say all that happened, right? It's all over said and done. Tupac got shot that night. Should didn't go to jail that night.
Okay.
Now, having a meeting, somebody should have been dealt with that night, right? Somebody should have been dealt with after the fact. After the fact, here we go all these years. Ain't nobody taking responsibility and saying we dropped the ball. Nobody is saying
I said that. I said that. That's one of the things I always said, that I dropped the ball for having a guy that was more Hollywood than more trained to be a trained observer to identify what happened and try to get a license plate or a better description of the car and all of that. I've been admitted that.
We already know it's obvious that something was said to Tupac, right? Because Tupac don't know what Orlando looked like, didn't know it.
Oh, I agree that he overheard. Man, I swear you sound like the idiots. You see, that's what the problem is. You be going listening to the choke no joke, snitch no joke, the Valentino, all these motherfuckers, and you start to sound like them.
Now you really want to, right? Now you really want to insult me. Now you really want to talk to me like that.
Yeah, that's how you sound, saying that nobody did nothing and somebody should have been disciplined and all of that. Who are you saying, big dog?
I got an 84-year-old woman in my house right now, and I'm trying to look at it. Listen, Reggie.
Yes, sir.
What I'm going to do, plain and simple, plain and motherfucking simple. It shouldn't have happened the way it happened.
I wish you. I agree.
That one individual was not what y'all, that DP'd or busted week or whatever.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Nobody accountable for Tupac overheard. He can listen to a conversation, but when he turn around and look, the first thing he gonna say is, "What y'all talking about?" So somebody had to point him out.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this question. Because as I always said, James McDonald, in my opinion, was the leader of the mob. I'm not saying the leader. I said one. Who should have did that?
Marjorie. And all the guys that was there.
Okay.
Brother should be able to, Alton should be able to accountable too. Buntry was there. And Trey hung with Buntry.
Yeah.
Trey kicked with Buntry every morning. And Buntry should have told and got at Trey and told him, "You out of line. You was out of line." And if anybody would have been let go, it would have been Trevon. Because he was totally wrong. And if he in that gang life and he see gang member, someone that jumped him prior to the MGM, he should have took off.
I agree with you earlier on that. I agree with you earlier on that when you said it should have on site. It should have been on site. I agree with you on that.
Let me clarify something else.
Okay.
We didn't have a leader in our hood. We didn't have shot callers in the hood. We didn't have that.
I agree. I mean, I would have said as a gang expert, but y'all know better. I wasn't a member of the mob, so yeah.
And then, for the record, when these things came out,
Okay.
and that somebody had to tell me, me, Buntry, Davey Homeboy, and your boy Trey.
My boy now.
Because you always defended people.
I defend right. I defend the right.
You want me to talk like Michael Jackson, or you just want me to shut
Go
up?
ahead. Go ahead.
Argued with Buntry. Me and Buntry didn't talk for 3 months down there because I said certain things. Why did this happen? Why that happened? This nigga shouldn't be woo, 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 woo. And me and Buntry stopped talking. Mom, you drink too much. You ain't country. You ain't woo, woo, woo. Nigga, fuck you. It's done now, you know that? And Buntry really believed that it wasn't over. And Tupac is gone. So, the proof is in the pudding, man, and all y'all be sitting here overlooking the facts. This is a fact. Tupac didn't know Orlando. Tupac ain't never seen Orlando. So rock with that. Well, how he know to go take off on this man if he never seen him a day in his life? Tupac only been around the homies in there for about 8-9 months. Am I correct?
11, but yeah, correct.
They go give him that. He had to warm up to him.
That's true. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
And he tried to be and become one of them. And I say it right now today. I get what he was trying to do, but some things you just gotta let happen. You can't take off. And he made a mistake. He took off.
Okay.
Which that was the homie's job. You keep the money safe. You don't let the money go run wild and with his head cut off because he's trying to prove a point, and then here the homies is. Everybody else walked out of there.
Hey James, you ever had a dog?
Yeah, I had a dog.
Okay.
I don't like dogs.
But
Yeah.
so when a dog take and run out the door, right? Or just take off and go and attack a kid or bite somebody or something like that? Is that your fault?
You trying to compare the mentality of a man to a dog?
No, I'm saying when something take off, you go and chase after it, but once it do what it did, there's nothing you can do about it.
After the fact, no, it's done already. Now you got to deal with the consequences. Because your dog ran out the door and bit somebody.
Oh.
Now you got
Yeah, I agree with you on there. Yeah, yes. And we dealt with the consequences.
What you do?
Suge Knight went to jail. Tupac died. I'm up here being blamed for having been the worst security guard ever, or having the worst security company ever, and that I having something to do with the murder of Tupac. Those are consequences, dogs.
You're guilty. You're guilty because you got to relax. You guilty, and again, we gonna argue because you became one of us.
I wasn't even there, so I hire people. to do what they were supposed to do. I had motherfuckers that were supposed to be doing what they were supposed to do. Yeah. Okay.
I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about being around and moving with the homies.
I didn't move like that with the homies when I was working, especially then. Maybe later on after Suge went to jail. But in 95, 96, with 95, 96, I didn't have stuff on point. Yeah.
Reggie, you was giving orders you gave an order to Trevon to take off on Snoop.
That's 97. I said 98, 98. That's 98, 99.
So you moving like one.
Later on, I agree with you. Later on, I said later on, but I was just talking about 95, 96.
I'm talking about in general. You came on death row when you came on death row and with right way security and all that. When you came, I was the first to say why.
Yeah.
Even though we have a history, even though your family is my family.
Yeah, yeah.
It don't fit. So.
Yeah, you know why you said why? Cause you was about to rob and extort that nigga and take all his money from me, or take some of his money from me, and you was like, why you bring this motherfucker around? I'm about to do X, Y, and Z to you.
Not on. Don't blame us.
Say not I, and say we.
So one has to find a different way of getting paid without putting itself into the BS, right?
Correct.
But what I'm saying to you is everybody fell in.
Yeah.
And when, like Let Me Ride, when Buntry and all of them got mad at me because I tried to say what's right or what should be done, the first thing they threw in my face is, you drink too much.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a drink right now and still say what I got to say with a clear mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
As I did. I wasn't off the chain. Yeah, I kind of was. But I knew what was going on. I understood what was going on.
Yeah.
So by them bucking it, it's time for me to just shut up. So as Reggie and Buntry and the rest of those guys start moving and delegating things to where they wanted to, I didn't have nothing to say. I'm not going and getting on no airplanes. I'm not going to do this, that, or the other.
You know what, James? We're gonna end this right here. This part, you know what? This gonna end up. Part 2 of this segment gonna be posted up by Wednesday or Thursday on Mobbing with Mob James. We coming on James' channel, and we gonna discuss this on Mobbing with James McDonald.